Hello, welcome back to another Warhammer Fantasy Battle Report. This one is very much long overdue. This game I had a couple weeks ago with my dear friend Hadi and his Orcs and Goblins, and this time I'm playing with my Wood Elves. Pretty excited about this. It's been a long time since we've squared off, so get right into it. We played a simple battle line, we set up terrain, and then started placing, then rolled, and kept rolling things that would require us to start all over again. So rather than worry too much about the scenario, we just set up for a battle line. So from my near left flank, I have an eagle, 12 branch race with branch nymph, my honor guard of 5 war dancers. I have a unit of 14, I believe, and a unit 13 and a unit of 10 glade guard. The smaller unit has my caster level 4 and my BSBs in my larger unit with the flaming banner. I have a tree man ancient, who's my general with annoyance of netlings. A tree man. Far side, another eagle, 6 tree kin, 12 more branch, 12 more dryads with a branch wraith this time. I have 5 scouts sitting behind the building, and then over on this side, just because of the nature of it, we couldn't go all the way to the corner. I had to set up like that were my fast cav, my glade guard. And on the opposite side, here are the orcs and goblins. So, on his right flank, opposite my fast cav, or his fast cav, he's got 5 wolf riders. He has 2 rock labas, 1 on each side. Unit of orcs, just normal boys. Chariots, a big unit of, what are they called? Goblins. Night goblins, I believe, with nets, and then he's got a sorcerer on a boar. Got a huge unit of savage orcs with his, I think, level 4 with that shrunken head. He's got his, the general might be the silver boar with the goblins. There's another shaman running around. I think he had all shamans this time. He had a unit of boar boys, and then on the far side, 6 trolls. That's roughly his setup. I might have missed a thing or two, but I will get back to that as we go if I have missed anything. So he's got a fair bit of casting. He's trying out a fun list with not too much in the way of shooting and not too much in the way of high leadership and heavy fighters. You know, I think he's got a BSB that's on a boar in the middle of his boar unit. And that guy's pretty tough. And I think Hadi learned after this one that he's got to kind of rethink this a little bit. You know, otherwise, I looking at this, I'm seeing a pretty balanced army with one of the strongest units of trolls over way on the side and the unit of savage orcs over on my right flank as well. Being mobile, I figure I'll be able to get the combinations that I want. I'm okay with that. Plus, with just the setup, you know, we set up to make terrain look cool. We end up with a few objects in the middle, and I think moving forward, we've also discussed, just to make it more interesting, to limit the amount of impassable terrain in the middle. You know, look at having more forests or rivers or hills, that kind of thing. So here's a look at my mighty glade guard scouts hiding behind. This is actually a building, but we're just going to call it a goblin building. It's a little rougher around the edges, so it looks more like a rock, but it's not. It's a very serious building, so I appreciate if you all take it very seriously. In the middle here, you'll see cards next to most everything. That's just saying what it is so that we try not to forget what the effects are. The statuette in the middle is a bane stone, and so that's going to be interesting with all this fighting there. So we get to Vanguard, so I bring my glade riders out around my left flank. They just come up. They're facing everything. They can move around. That's great. His wolf riders run right up to the other side of the building. I'm okay with that. Here's a close-up look at my forces before we really jump into it. I can't remember where I got this from, maybe Company of the Damned, but I like the idea of having a little honor guard, and I recognize that some of my guys were a little unprotected, so I put that unit of 5 war dancers in there to protect my caster, who's in that smaller unit of glade guard. So turn 1, he doesn't move up a whole lot. He squabbled quite a bit, and with some of his bigger units, and so I didn't take any real pictures of his turn. My turn, I move forward Somewhat cautiously. I'm not too... I definitely don't want him to be getting lots of charges off on individual units of mine, so I move my Dryads up into the forest, hoping that he'll charge me. The Dryads are pretty awesome, as we all know. But being in a forest, they will be stubborn, so I'm happy with that. And I'll take away stubborn on all of his units, so if I can get lucky, then I can take out a powerful unit with my much weaker one. Otherwise, I just move up so I can shoot. I put my... I put my eagle there in front of his riders just to kind of trick him into moving. What he did do, though, was he brought up his boar boys here, and he brought up his chariot in the back, and he brought up his trolls just to move forward and threaten my flank however possible. On his right flank, he really didn't do a whole lot other than move his chariot up right in front of his Orcs, which I believe they squabbled as well. It was really, I can't remember, I think the Orcs squabbled and then they caught the Goblins, and so they did a couple wounds to each other, didn't get to do a whole lot. I was okay with that. Just so you also know, our casting was abysmal. I think each turn, not each round, it went up from 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 dice, and it was just brutal. So only towards the end did we have enough dice to even cast anything. On my left and middle flank, I just kind of bring everybody up a little bit. I bring my eagle way up so I can hopefully get a charge. He's protecting the charge of my eagle on his trebuchet or rock lob or whatever, sorry. And I'm holding back, hopefully going to make him charge over the river, see what happens there, and then I can go and attack back. That's a long charge. I'm not too worried about if I need to flee. I can flee and get counter charges. And I'm bringing up my Dryads here on the near side. I shoot at his fast cav, deal 2 wounds, so I'm excited about that, and move on from there. So I've killed a couple of his fast cav. I'm feeling pretty good. His turn 2, he moves up like so. He brings his goblins up in the middle. He brings his orcs up at my guys, and is just angling to come after me and give me something to think about. On his left flank, he does not take the bait, although you can see how tempting and tasty my Great Eagle looks here, sitting in front of his guys. And what he does is he moves them up right in front. Not exactly sure why. Oh, it's so they could get his Savage Orcs out and around behind. Interesting move here. I understand why he didn't want to charge. He's trying to control everything that he can as far as the combats go, and doesn't want to get drawn out of position and have me be able to flank him. Likewise, he doesn't charge with his trolls into my Dryads. Luckily, he's daunted by them, having had enough bad experiences in the past, and I'm okay with that. In my turn, I did shoot and get a bunch of wounds using the Flaming Banner and the Hail of Doom arrows, and I took off 6 wounds from his trolls. So they're a little bit weaker, so he's also feeling a little shaken up. Here's just another angle of the trolls standing right in front of my Dryads, trying to tempt them out of the forest and get me to attack. Totally understandable. He drops a rock on my mage's unit. This is my BSB unit. This is my larger of the two with a Flaming Banner, and just absolutely annihilates the whole thing. Luckily, I got my Look Out Sir roll, because otherwise, man, he dropped it right on my BSB and got everybody. So my turn too. What I do is I pull my Dryads back and I move my Treekin forward. The idea is that way I'll be able to see with the Treekin, so I can flank charge if he does charge me, and otherwise I have an avenue to get my Treekin through. I just want them in combat with just about anybody. Maybe the Savage Orcs, I'll try to get a combo charge to make sure. I move my I just shift around my Great Eagle a little bit, stay in the front rank, so hopefully he'll charge me now and then kill me, overrun into the Banestone, be stuck. And another rock also took off 5 of the 6 wounds on my Treeman. Not my Treeman Ancient, but my Treeman. So I just move him forward, try to get him within range of being able to tree root, strangle root, or maybe I try to charge him. I believe I tried to charge him at the Goblins. I brilliantly moved my Glade Guard scouts into the building so I could draw out the Fanatics, but of course there weren't any. And then on my left flank, I just moved my Honor Guard up in front to protect the archers and my dryads up even further. So I also sneak my eagle in between. He's not angled at the rock lava, but he is out of charge arc of both the chariot and the orcs, so I'm okay with that. And now he can't charge me, and now I'm over there behind his lines and confusing thinking, giving him things more to think about. So surprisingly, on Orcs turn 3, he does not charge. He actually swift reforms and moves the boar boys out of the way entirely, sneaks them through the hole that was there, and then moves the savage orcs up. And so he'll end up moving the chariot over around my flank as well. And here's just to look at it, and then he charges my tree man with his gigantic unit of night goblins. And he's near the Banestone, so it's not a bad idea. He'll get +1 to wound. I think I believe I kept myself just outside the 6 inches. I did that carefully. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of some other time. But let's just pretend I'm a brilliant general. Just kidding. So he comes in here, and so I'm relying on terror. He is outside of his leadership bubble, or outside of his reroll. I can't remember which, but that causes some problems in the next 2 rounds of combat. And I'm stubborn, so I figure, and I'm rerollable, so as long as I don't die, I'm rerollable 9, I can stick around. So I'm okay with this. Here you go. On this flank, he just kind of moves things around just a little bit. This may just be showing, again, where I stuck myself into. Now, after combat, I'm still alive, luckily, and I've done a whole mess of wounds. He's still steadfast, but I've done a bunch of wounds, so I'm really okay with that. And basically, he fails terror, is only hitting me on 5s, and then with just the number of rolls, he's not getting a whole lot of those, and then to try to roll 6s, I'll either save them, what few he does, or what have you. So my turn 3, I go to surround the lone remaining wolf. I move my great eagle up so I can charge his rock lobber, and then I move everybody else up here. I move my eagle in the background there in front of his savage orcs to redirect them. I do charge his trolls, feeling a little saucy, I guess, and shift my battle standard bearer into the larger unit, the smaller unit, sorry, the mage's unit of Glade Guard. So at least now I was below the 5, so at least now I'll get a lookout, sir, and I'll be safe there. So here's kind of another look at the dryads and trolls, and the eagle charge blocking the savage orcs. So at least he's gonna have to roll different leadership tests to try to survive, etc., etc. And then here's a look, just looking left onto my left flank. He's pulled out his shaman in the back there. You can see him fuzzy behind the boar boys. That's his general and the shaman, just trying to protect against the eagle and keep him from being within charge range from me and me being able to take him out. As you notice in this picture, I've cleared out his night goblins and overran into his I did not overrun, but I overran, did not make it into the flank of his boar boys. So after combat, I've done 2 wounds on the trolls, which I would have loved to have done more, and he survives. Over here, he's charged my Glade Riders. I stand, knowing that I'll be in the river and hoping that I'll survive. I mean, that I'll win combat and he won't be stubborn or get rank bonuses, and he beats me by killing 3 guys. And the last picture, you can see that I rolled a 4 to stick around with no reroll. That was huge. And you can see how daunting they look with their beautifully painted banner here right in my face. My 2 remaining guys staying up and holding up this flank. So his turn 4, I believe, he's charged in to my flank with his chariot, killed the dryads between the chariot and the trolls, and then not to a person, but then overran and got in behind my lines and has thus flanked me. So now I'm stuck. You can see my Treekin there. They're moving forward, but you know, what do? Do I pull them back? To counter, what I do is I charge with my dryads and my war dancers into his lone charge blocking wolf rider, and then he's brought his chariot up to protect in behind. My hope is to win. Yeah, clearly this combat's going to go in my favor, but my hope is to win and then overrun. Originally I was thinking I would overrun into the rear of the black orcs, not black orcs, just the regular orcs, but it's not to be. But extending all the way here to the right, I am overrunnable into the chariot. I get into this combat with the rock lava, and I'm happy about that because their shooting's been just awesome. And then here's things looking here. If you look, this is what my general, not my general, but my mage and BSB are looking at. I've got 2 tree men in the corner, in the flank of his boar boys, and I tried to charge with my treekin around the eagle and failed. So they're just stuck out there in the middle, and you can see what I'm looking at over on my right flank with this beaten up unit of Glade Guard. I've pulled them back and angled them to face the trolls and chariots, and so I'm just going to go ahead and shoot. And at this point I see a die back there, so I don't think I've killed the last troll, but I'm going to go and just try to shoot and whittle him down however I can, and then hold up by fleeing and rallying as much as I can. I put my eagle here right in front. I do my best to angle him. It looks like he's closer than an inch away, but he is not. And I've angled him to the best of my ability so that even when he maximizes, he'll overrun past the treekin. That's the best I could do, and not ideal, but I think that should be okay. And then you can see my 2 tree men here are in combat. I'm in his flank, so I only have 1 wound with the 1 tree man. That's all right. And I have the Annoyance and Netlings on my general. So on my left flank, after combat, I've lost with the 2 Glade Riders, so he reforms, and this is on my turn, so he'll get to charge me next round. I'm okay with that. And I've overrun with my War Dancers into his chariot. I'm also okay with that. After combat, I've killed a couple boar boys, and he turns to face me. Fair enough. You know, he didn't get the charge off. He didn't get all his extra bonuses. So, again, I'm stubborn. I'm within rerollable distance on my BSB. Even if I lose my tree man, I'll still stick around with my tree man ancient, but chances are I'll do pretty well. I also win combat with my eagle, one of the first and only times that I've won the first round. And even though I take a wound, I fly, I overrun, and I fly. So his turn 5, he charges into my flank with the black orcs, with these orcs. I whoop up so hard, and I do enough damage that I actually win combat, killing outright the chariot, and doing whatever 3 wounds or whatever minus the his own disgruntled wounds from earlier, and I reform to face him, having survived with a couple of guys. Mind you, he is shocked, but he doesn't get rank bonuses, flank bonus. He doesn't get flank bonuses and steadfast and stuff, so, you know, it's a big deal that I won that. He charges me with his trolls. I flee, and I get away, and so he's just moving in here to come after me. The green die here next to his Savage Orcs means that he squabbles, to the best of my knowledge, and that is just brutal and unfortunate for him, but I'm loving it, and it's the one that he can't charge. Whatever he rolled, he can't charge, so I'm okay with that. And you can see that my combat with the tree men, both tree men are still alive, and I'm doing quite a bit of damage on his boar boys. My scouts are still hanging out in the building. My dryads are now in a perfect position to charge to support my war dancers, and then so on my turn I rally my fleeing small unit of Glade Guard here. I don't get to shoot, unfortunately, but I'm going to shoot the other ones, and I pull out my mage and BSB, put them next to the Banestone. Not ideal, but he can't really shoot me with anything, and I'm going to then be in the bubble for leadership rerolls and casting and be able to do everything. So here I charge in with my Branch Wraith, who I think I moved over to this side. Or maybe she started on this side. And all my Dryads, and I'm just ready to do some serious whooping, even though I've only got 1 War Dancer left. I'll try to keep her alive. And then I charge into the flank here with the eagle to get out of the way of the treekin, and also give me a charge and flank bonus. Figuring 1-on-1 I will probably survive. I then cast, I believe, Savage Beast of Horrors pumped up, and everyone's pumped up, plus maybe Wissons, so everyone's pretty buffed in there. And then I charge the Savage Orcs with my treekin. They're the ones that have Wissons, and so that'll be pretty good. And then I fly my eagle right over next to that rock lava. The larger unit of Glade Guard here shoot and take off a few wounds with regen there on the trolls, so I'm stoked about that. And then unfortunately this is the last picture I have where I soundly defeated the Boar Boys. We're actually playing Blood and Glory, that's what it is, and this is what put me over the limit, and I had enough points to claim a victory. I was also going to win on straight up victory points as well. I took out the Orc boys on my left flank with the Dryads, won that, and I believe I was beating the Savages with my treekin, and they fled as well. So I could be wrong about that last one, but all in all, it was a solid victory to the Wood Elves, and thank you all for watching. Hopefully I will have another few games coming up soon and get those out a lot quicker. Take good care. Bye now.